Hello, my creative friends. I'm Heather North from heatherscreativeblessings.com. It is the 17th of the month, so I am sending out my encouraging, friendly reminder calling all sisters to do your monthly breast self-exam. If you are new to this idea, on my blog on the right-hand side, you will see this graphic. Go ahead and click on it to find out more information. Basically what it is, though, is I'm joining Michelle from Casual Friday Stamps. She designed the stamps and tags that I'm going to be using today, including these little scallop tags. And she's putting a shout out on the 17th of every month just to remind us to do our self-exams. And early detection is so key. And I will be doing an encouraging card, a card you could send out to your girlfriends to remind them to do their check or to encourage them if they are fighting the battle. So I have here, like I said, the scallop tags from Casual Fridays, the flower stamp from Loving Thoughts, again from Casual Friday Stamps. I used an embossing buddy just to make sure I didn't get any embossing powder where I didn't want it over that tag. And then I inked up my stamp in Versamark ink. This is just a clear ink. I'm going to do a emboss resist technique. So I just sprinkle some clear embossing powder over that image, and then I will heat set it with my heat tool. I like to make sure that my heat tool is nice and hot before I bring it to the paper. This melts that embossing powder quickly. You'll see it turn from powdery to kind of shiny, and it also helps prevent some of the warping. Now I'm pulling out that Loving Thoughts stamp set again, and I'm just grabbing this little flower from the set, and I'm going to grab some Bubblegum Hero Arts Mid-Tone Shadow Ink. And I discovered that this little flower fits perfectly in the bottom of the scallops. Isn't that the cutest little thing? Oh, this would make a cute little baby card, wouldn't it? Sorry, I just had a new niece. I've got baby girl on my mind. Anyways, I stamped in each of those scallops, and then I'm going to pull out the Doll Pink ink from Simon Says Stamp. And this stamp set's called Calm and Gentle. It has some wonderful, encouraging sentiments that you can use. I've got a couple of friends battling breast cancer right now, and I've been able to use sentiments from the stamp set for them. I pulled out Think Happy Thoughts, though, for this one. I'm going to send this to my cousin, I believe, or one of my friends, and I'm going to remind them to do their monthly self-exam, but to think happy thoughts. It's just a preventative thing. Hopefully there will be nothing there. If there is, though, we need to be proactive and catch it early. So think happy thoughts. Stay positive. It's really important. For the Emboss Resist technique, I'm going to grab that bubblegum ink again, and my Tim Holtz Distress tool. I'm picking up a little bit of ink and then rubbing it off on my scrap paper before I bring it to my tag. This helps prevent the blotchy circles that you can get. I want some areas to be darker than others, and I'm concentrating kind of on a diagonal. I'll show you here in just a second, like that. That's where most of my ink is on that diagonal, and then around the flower so that it really pops out. Then I'm going to take a very light touch. It's hard to see in the video, but I'm barely touching the edges of this larger tag. And this is just going to give it a little bit of dimension, a little bit of a shadow around the edges. And then I go very lightly over each of the flowers as well on the bottom scallop of the tag. I am in love with these Blueprints dies from My Favorite Things lately. I love the tiny little stitches that they have. This is Blueprints 24. You could use the tags that come in that set if you just wanted to get one thing, but I really like the scallops from the Casual Fridays, so since I have both, I'm using both. I'm going to again do the sponging with my Distress tool and that bubblegum ink. Just around the edges. I don't need the center cover because the tag's going to cover it up. Just a light blending. And then you could just add another layer or two of that bubblegum ink, but since I have the Doll Pink ink from Simon Says Stamp, and I want to kind of go with the sentiment I did earlier, I'm just going to pull in a little bit of this ink, and you can see from that sponging off to the side that it's just a little bit darker, brighter shade than the bubble gum. I'm just picking up a tiny bit, see that? And I'm going to go around the outside edge of my tiny tag. Sorry, I'm off camera here. And then again, I went on that center diagonal, focusing on the flower just to make it pop a little bit more. It adds just a little bit of depth. And then here, I am barely touching the edge. Can you see that? Just above where the stitch line is. And I'm adding just a little bit more of that dull pink ink, and it gives it a darker shade. It's a very subtle thing, but it's these subtle details that really make a difference on your cards. I am in love with these Blueprints dies from My Favorite Things. This little sweet butterfly I got when I was at the Buffalo Stamp Store in Buffalo, New York, at my stamp retreat. And I don't know, I threw away the packaging because I didn't have a lot of room to bring stuff home, so I don't know who makes it. I don't know what company, but I decided to sponge over it and discovered that it has an emboss resist as well. It's got those little stripes on it. Isn't that cool? Love it. And I didn't even need more ink. I just used what ink was on the sponge. Now I'm going to assemble my card. I just used some snail adhesive, and I'm going to center it. I find it easier to center my cards if I turn them on their side. I don't know why. I just do. So I center that panel, and then I'm going to just use some foam tape to pop these two things up. I was going to have the butterfly be half on the tag and half off, so I put a little bit of foam tape on one side and glue dot on the other. And now I'm taking some ribbon, this is from Pretty Pink Posh, and I'm just tying it into a little bow, and I will pick up a glue dot with the back of the bow as well. If you wanted your layers to all line up straight, you could just stack them one on top of the other, but I wanted mine a little bit crookedy, so I have the large scallop tag going up and to the left, and the smaller tag was going up and to the right, but once it's on my card, it almost looks straight. I was going to have the butterfly on the tag itself, but then I started playing around with it, thought I might like it down below, so I'm setting it off to the side while I decide what I want to do. I'm straightening up my bow a little bit, it's on that glue dot, and then I'll use my scissors to just trim off the edges. I love these scissors. I got them for free from Stampin' Up, and I wish I wouldn't have resisted so long. Now I've got one for my sewing room and one for my craft room. They work great. If you are a seamstress or if you enjoy sewing or quilting, I highly recommend these scissors. They're my favorite scissors now. Okay, so I decided I wanted it at the bottom. I took off that foam adhesive, and I'm going to just put a glue dot on the other side of the butterfly. So there's two glue dots. I think using some glue will hold it in place even better, but this is what I have here where I'm recording. And I'm just going to stick it down there at the bottom, and my card will be done. Isn't that cute? I've got two cards now, one to send to a friend, one to send to a cousin. I want to just remind you one more time, do your breast self-exams today. Send a text or an email or a card to one of your friends reminding them to do their checks as well. Together, we are stronger. Thank you so much, Michelle, for starting this campaign. Be sure and head on over to my blog. There is a special going on. There's some new stamp sets that's been released, as well as a free die you can get, and I will have all the details over there on my blog. If you like this video, be sure and give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel to see more of these videos from me. Thank you so much for joining me today. Bye!